Hi guys, welcome to another video tutorial with me, Clarice. In this video we are going to be doing something out of the Flower Color Guide book. So yes, we are back onto the Flower Color Guide series, or this video will be a part of that series. And we are doing Chrysanthemums, lilac filler, well, lilac in color. And that is on page 338. So I hope you guys are excited. Let's get right into the supplies that I am using, which are all listed below in the description, by the way, so feel free to check that out. So for paper, I am using my ETCHR block Coldpress, 50% cotton paper. And then for my brushes, I'm using my Princeton Neptune script number 4 because I would like to get some nice whimsical looking stems as opposed to the rigid ones. And then Princeton Velvetouch round number 4 as well. My beautiful palette is a handmade clay palette by Patty. I have listed her Instagram below, so if anyone is interested in palettes like this, you should definitely check Patty out. She is awesome. All right, and then for my colors, I am so thrilled to be using the Daler-Rowney collection of 48. What I have done is I've taken out the colors that I want to use for these chrysanthemums. Excuse me. And here they are. So I'm going to try and keep things real simple. I have 3 colors here. I might end up just using 2, but I'm going to let you guys know. So dominantly I will be using the ultramarine pink, which is like a nice little mauve, very similar to that. And then the secondary color will be the cobalt violet hue. And then if I really want to use a darker color, I've got, what is this? Permanent mauve handy over here. And then for our greens, we're using olive green, and I will definitely use maybe like an umber or something to sort of darken it up a bit. Actually, I might not need to use umber because there's so many greens in this 48 palette. I'll keep sap green handy. It might work, it might not work. Let's just see what happens. All right, so we are ready to begin. All right, so to begin, I'm using my number 4, and I am going to use the ultramarine pink like I mentioned. And what I want to do is really water this pink down by a lot, because if you really look at the flower in the book, it's very light. And so if we start off super light, then we can always build up in color if we need to. So I'm going to try my best to see how light I can go. And what we want to do is we want to use the beauty about these Velvetouch brushes, first of all, is the fact that they are super fine pointed tip, and then they're longer than the typical, at least in my opinion, from the brushes that I've been using. And so you use the tip, you lightly graze, and then you press down to sort of get that nice long petal. And that's why I picked the number 4, because it also helps us control the sizing of the flower. Because we've got the number 8 as well, but if we use the number 8, I think our flowers would be massively huge. So, all right, so here we go. I'm going to start off by doing the center. The center is like this little sort of bud with several of these nice fine petals all around. And just remember, guys, this is a loose style of painting, and so white space is absolutely key and important. So I've watered this down. This is maybe like a 20% color, 80% water. And we're starting the center. So we want to do this using the tip, pressing down, and doing these little C curves. And making sure that there's enough white space in between. And you just want to go all around and kind of create these different shapes in different lengths, kind of forming this oval circular shape. And now what you want to do is, at this point, if you want to get just a little bit of that secondary color that we have, and just mix that onto the side, because what will help is if we go in and just add, while it is damp, just a tiny bit of strokes within, and then dipping the tip of my brush in water, I'm going to continue creating these little petals around. Now for the base petals that are kind of facing upward here, you want to do more of a slight curve. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So we're going to do tiny little curves like this. You can revert back to your little mauvey color, and that's how we're going to show our petals that are facing upward that way. And then the same thing over here. You want to kind of alternate these petals in between, and then lightly do these petals below. And then color as well, making sure that you got that nice dark color happening at the base of these petals. Gives you that nice beautiful blend that you're looking for as well. And now we want to do the peaks at the top as well, okay? So don't forget that. So I like to dip the tip of my brush in water every time I go to do another layer. So we're going from dark in the center to light on the outside. So I'm just mixing more color. And you're using the image of the flower just as a reference, guys. So just keep that in mind. And you are trying to make it look as nice and fluffy and loose as possible. And here's the peaks at the top. So we're just going to lightly sort of alternate in between the areas where we've got a little bit of a dip. So we're alternating, and we're creating these tiny little peaks, kind of pointing inward. So this is sort of very similar to the, for those who have watched it, the aster, because it's a very similar flower, just on a smaller scale. And the chrysanthemum is a little bit bigger. So at this point now, if you want to just add a couple of strokes for your petals on the outer bit, just to kind of show some nice flowing movement, you absolutely can, because again, remember I said, even though these stems are rigid, I want to make my stems nice and flowy. So why not the petals as well? So here's what I would suggest. This just on the outskirts here, just do a little bit of a curvy petal like that, and a couple of them here and there, mixing a little bit of that secondary color, which is, mind you, what is it? Cobalt violet. And then just kind of adding that into the stems, sorry, not the stems, the base areas of the outer petals. And I'm just adding more water so it doesn't look too dark. And these are the petals that are going to make it look a little more whimsical and pretty. So you want to alternate in between some of these pinky mauvey petals as well, so that they stand out just a tad bit. Remember your white space, and then you want to add some of this color on the inner petals too, just like a tiny stroke here and there. And what this will do is it'll help tie all the different mauves that we've used so far and make our flower look that much fuller and prettier. So, and there we go. That's pretty much it. So at this point, if you want to take your mauve, what was this called again? Cobalt violet, sorry, not mauve. And I'm just going to mix a little bit of that in with the mauve. And you want to just give some shadow to the innermost part of your flower. So just lightly grazing. And the beautiful thing about this etcher paper is that it is still holding the dampness, so I'm still able to get some nice blends into my petals. And then I want to use this dark color to kind of slightly highlight the outer petals that we've created. And this way it gives us more of a volume. Gives the flower more volume rather. And we don't want to overdo it too much, just in certain areas so things really pop. And then once that is done, we are pretty much done our flower. I just want to really highlight the center so that it really stands out. And then that is it. So there's our whimsical little chrysanthemum. Let's use the script to get some of our olive green and do a nice little whimsical stem. So here I am just getting some of that color. I'm just going to mix it into this, I don't know, I had some other sort of green there. And I'm just going to lightly, using the tip of this brush, and just do a nice little swirl. Just make it slightly thicker at the top. And that is great. And then for our bottom here, just very lightly I'm adding some dabs of green to kind of indicate the green bits. And then we want to do our leaves. So let's mix some of this, was it sap green, in here, and use this green variation to do some leaves. So the leaves are like, I like how these leaves are, the shape is very unique and different, so I would just use your brush and try and get some nice organic shapes, leave some white space in between, and then just taper downward with the shapes as you go towards the stem, lower half of the leaf that is. And then the top you can just kind of add a little bit more. And then just give it a little bit of a curve. And we are done pretty much. And that is it. If you want to go in and add a little bit of a darker hue in certain areas, you can do that. Otherwise you can just leave this as is. But this is pretty much the chrysanthemum, that my rendition of the chrysanthemum from the Flower Color Guide series. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the supplies I'm using. Happy to answer. And guys, tag me in your work. I'd love to see your work if you post it on Instagram or on Facebook. My handles are listed below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It really does help my channel grow. And feel free to share this video with other friends and loved ones that you might think would really benefit from this. Alright, thanks guys for watching, and we'll chat soon. Bye!